Hey everybody, it's Curse, and today I wanted to bless you with my plan for the channel and where I want to head towards next. But before we talk about the future, let's quickly revisit the past and especially the last 3 weeks since Diablo 4 launched. So it's been 3 weeks, and the first week and a half, I pushed for level 100 extremely hard. I was playing all day long, pretty much every single day, and it was a grueling and very fun experience, but it was also exhausting. I was also using off-meta builds, and I refused to run the most efficient dungeon over and over again, Champion's Demise at the time. So I took longer than a lot of other players would take otherwise. I basically ran Nightmare Dungeons all the way to 100, and that made it extra exhausting. And so first things first, I wanted to highlight just how much I appreciated everybody that showed up over the last 3 weeks on the stream and just gave me their support, especially on that grind to 100. It was a grueling experience, like I said already. That support helped, I gotta say. It was nice to have people cheering on, and especially people that were there for the 100 itself. It made my experience a lot more pleasant. I hope you enjoyed it as well. So my sincere thanks go to you. You know who you are. Thank you to all of you, genuinely. And also thanks to everybody that ran Nightmare Dungeons with me over the 3 weeks. I had a blast with everybody that showed up. It was great. We even ran after I was level 100. But to reflect a little bit on that 3 weeks, on the content front, I've come to realize that switching from one game to another, like from Last Epoch to D4, can have adverse side effects on your viewership. My YouTube videos, for example, didn't perform nearly as well as I thought they would. I thought that some of them especially had some really innovative, cool tech in them. And so I'm still somewhat perplexed on the performance, but either way, it was a good learning experience. I do think I need to shift on a few things. I need to adapt and adjust and improve, really. I need to take the learnings from this experience and become a better content creator, really. So I'll be taking those 3 weeks and what I've learned from them and trying to create better content for all of you. And at the same time, I do try to not obsess over viewership as like the sole and only objective function for myself. Obsessing over it, I think, is super unhealthy. And there are just a lot of other things that can be valuable as well. Even if I have a small to medium sized audience, but they get a lot from my content, I'm going to be happy with that, you know. So I try to optimize for multiple objective functions and not just view counts. And I try to keep a long-term goal in mind, and that's creating a consistent stream of high-value gaming content that a wide audience can benefit from. So that's what I always have in mind, and I try to focus on my output rather than on whether I'm achieving certain targets on views and whatever else. If I'm improving my output and if I'm learning, I think it's all good. And with that said, let's refocus back on D4. So I've hit level 100. I've tried all of the endgame content, high tier Nightmare Dungeons, a little bit of Uber Lilith, PvP. I completed every single dungeon in the game, in every single region. I feel like I've gotten my enjoyment out of D4 for now, and there just isn't much more left for me to do in the game. For now. With future patches, introducing new content, introducing new items, new aspects, and balancing, really, that's one of my biggest gripes, is better class and skill balance. When that comes around, I'm sure I'll be back into the game. But for now, it's time to transition to a different game. And that is one of the main reasons for me to create this video, just to talk about what game and what I want to play. So the game that I have in mind is something that I've had in my wish list for a very long time. I bought it even in early access many years ago. The game itself came out this year, but I made sure not to play too much of it during early access because I didn't want to spoil my experience with the game for when it actually launches. And I haven't actually had time to play it because of Last Epoch, because of Diablo 4. Just too many awesome games this year. It's a good problem to have. But now that, Diablo 4, I'm going to take a little break from, and Last Epoch, I think it's not quite time for me to go back to it yet. I'm probably going to wait for a bigger content patch. And so it's a perfect opportunity for me to try this game and for me to showcase this game to all of you. Hopefully the game lives up to my expectations. I'm very hyped for it. The game itself is going to be Everspace 2. And I've played Everspace 1 already, and I loved it. It's kind of a fun roguelike in-space experience. But the second version is much more story-focused. So I'll see how it works out. I'll see whether the formula that they had for the first game translates very well to the second game with some major adjustments as well. And I'll showcase it to all of you on stream. So please do come and check it out. See if you like it. See if it's something that you would want to play. Or if it's something that you just want to put in your wish list and wait until Christmas sale comes around and you can snatch it for a good, 10, 15, 20 bucks, whatever it is. Eventually, some years later, it's going to be at that nice, low, cheap price where you can afford it more so than other games. I'm going to try and give it my honest review as well. You saw that even through all my Diablo 4 biases and just Diablo biases in general, I gave it my honest review, and the game still has a few rough edges that need to get ironed out, especially around the end game, especially around balance. So I'll give this game my honest and unfiltered review as well once I finish it. So my YouTube content will take a little bit of a different format. The game itself doesn't offer as much opportunity for like fancy build guides and stuff like that. So it's going to be more towards interesting parts of the game, interesting play elements. We'll see. I'll have to think about it and I'll have to adjust a little bit to come up with something fun so that everybody can enjoy it. And in the future, I will also be trying to showcase some smaller titles and smaller dev teams creations just because I'm a huge fan of the gaming landscape. And to not play any of the tremendously fun indie games, in my opinion, would be a huge disservice to the gaming community. So I'll try to pick out the most exciting ones and we'll see where that leads us. Everspace 2 itself is developed by Rockfish Games, which is let's say a medium-sized company. It's 11 to 50 members based on a quick Google search, but they don't have too many games in their arsenal just yet. So I'll be happy to highlight this one. So I'll be wrapping up Diablo 4 over the next 1 or 2 days, and I'll be switching to Everspace 2 this weekend. It's going to be a finite playthrough because the game itself doesn't have infinite replayability. So I'll inevitably play something else right after Everspace. Please join me and check it out. And once again, thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for coming by on Twitch as well. Thank you. You're all awesome. If you have any feedback for me, just ping me on Discord or send me a message anywhere, really. And take it easy. ごちそうさまでした。